Mr. Chairman, a few words to the families and then a question for Ms. Hill. To the families, first of all, my name is Barbara Mikulski. I'm a United States Senator and I'm from the state of Maryland. I had people die at the World Trade Center, and I also had 60 Marylanders die at the Pentagon on a plane and in the Inferno there. I also believe I owe my life to the gallantry of the men and women who fought back on 93, because I do believe the plane was heading towards us. And I have two constituents who died in the anthrax attack on us. So know that I'm absolutely on your side. And I want you to know I thank you today for coming, because you show such inspirational strength and courage. And I believe you have a right to know about what happened. You have a right to be heard in any public forum, and I believe that Americans have a right to be protected. I know that you're still looking for answers on why this happened, how it happened, and how it doesn't happen again. No, I would support a vote to establish an independent commission. I believe my committee has done an outstanding job, but I believe when such an impact happens to America and its families, we need more than one opinion on how to make sure it never happens again. What I find many things about what happened troubling, but what I find most troubling is that 4 of the terrorists were stopped by local law enforcement, 4 for speeding, and 1 for not having a driver's license. They were actually in the hands of law enforcement. But when they were stopped and the police went to check the databases, nothing alerted them to detain these men. Something is wrong here. State troopers, like the one in my own state that stopped one of these thugs, and other police officers know more when they check their database, know more about men being behind in their child support, the database will tell them, than they will do about men who are possibly around a terrorist attack. There are more than 50 different watch lists to keep track of people dangerous to the United States. But guess what? If you're a watch list, you don't talk to other watch lists. If you're a watch list, you live in one of those caves. You might not know if there are other watch lists out there. You don't tell anyone that you are a watch list, and you certainly don't talk to each other, make friends with the other watch list, or make friends with law enforcement. That's really, I think, unacceptable. And these will be the questions I'm going to direct to Ms. Hill, because like you, I want to be sure that this committee gets answers for you and the rest of America on how we can detect, deter, disrupt, and defeat any attack on the United States of America. And having said that, Ms. Hill, you know about these watch lists. You know that they're all over the place and they're nowhere. In our work with you and my colleagues, I wanted to see if there was a smoking gun. I wanted to know what were the systemic problems and what were the solutions. I'm not sure there's a smoking gun, but these watch lists are definitely a systemic problem. Could you elaborate them on that you can, or where do you would see solutions are going on this watch list issue?
The watch list issue, Senator, I am aware of it. We are going to go into that in more detail when we get to the hearing on the hijackers, because as you alluded to, that is an issue regarding Midhar and Hazmi. I mean, that's a very big issue. It's an issue of getting it in the right watch list, getting it to the right people. But even before that, it's also an issue of getting it between the intelligence community and the law enforcement community, and breaking down the reluctance sometimes to share information across the intelligence from the intelligence community to the criminal investigators and law enforcement on the other side. And that, I think, may also play in some of this. But those are issues that we will talk about when we look at the hijacker case. And you're right, they are problems.
Let me just say this before the yellow goes to red. I raised the issue of a smoking gun. I've been at many hearings. Do you believe that there is a smoking gun on what went wrong, or were there just a series of total disconnects?
Well, of course, I'm handicapped in answering that, because we are in a public session and we are still looking at a number of other issues that have come up. But I don't think in any of what we have seen here, smoking gun, if you mean by smoking gun, that somebody had information of when, where, how this was going to happen in the United States government. We have not found that. But, you know, I had a discussion actually with one of our staff on this the other day, and he pointed out wisely that there's been so much discussion about looking for a smoking gun. The truth is, you hardly ever get a, quote, smoking gun in not just terrorism, but in a criminal case, et cetera, and if by focusing all the time on we have the smoking gun, you know, we have to be ready to go if we have a smoking gun, the truth is most of the time you'll never have a smoking gun, and it's a lot harder to find it when you don't have one. So what we ought to be focusing on is how to get our system ready to find these guys when you don't have a smoking gun, which is what you're going to be faced with most of the time. Just, you know, the odds are you're not going to have that. And we need to have our intelligence and law enforcement people good enough and bright enough and aggressive enough that they can track these guys down and find this even when there is no smoking gun. Because my own experience, at least in law enforcement, is that's what you have most of the time.
Thank you.
So.